Today's topic is supporting socio-emotional development. We're going to look at how to establish great relationships with our students and how to employ effective language when dealing with their challenging behaviors. Do you remember talking about Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs? He believed that our most basic needs had to be met before we could reach our fullest potential. His pyramid started with the most basic needs and worked its way up to the most advanced. His theory is important for socio-emotional development because it teaches us that children have to feel safe and secure first before we can help them problem solve. Children who are afraid because they just got in trouble are not operating at their most optimal state of mind. In their fear, they're only operating out of their brainstem. In this lesson, we're going to look at strategies to help get children out of their brainstem and operating back out of their frontal lobe. As teachers, sometimes we're confronted with situations that are out of our control. Sometimes our children come to us hungry because there wasn't any food in the house to eat. Or they come to us tired because their baby brother was crying all night long. Or they may come to us anxious because their parents were fighting again. Sometimes it's up to us to fill in the gaps so that these children can reach their fullest potential. This might mean offering them breakfast or a nap mat in the middle of the day. We may be the only person that this child feels comfortable talking to. So it might just mean snuggling up with a good book and having a good conversation. It's hard to learn when you're sleepy or hungry or your world is falling apart at home. In your classroom, you can create a safe space where children feel loved and welcome and ready to learn. Sometimes when children get in trouble, we immediately jump to, "Why did you do that? Why didn't you use your words?" Remember that a child who's in trouble is probably scared and operating out of their brainstem, their most reptilian state of mind. When a child gets in trouble, our first responsibility is to make sure that they feel loved and safe. Once they feel safe, you can start to make connections with them. Let them know that you care about how they feel and you're concerned for what's going on, and that the reason you're concerned is because you love them and you want what's best for them. Once children feel safe and loved and connected, then you can problem solve. But if you skip these important steps in the process, you're only setting yourself and the child up for failure. In this module, we're going to look at the different systems of the brain and how they all work together. The brainstem is our survival state of mind. It's our fight or flight mode. In this state of mind, we don't trust the world or the relationships that we have with other people. The limbic system is our emotional brain. This is where we form our relationships, our attachments, and our need to feel loved. In this state of mind, we'll do anything to avoid discomfort. We'll seek out external pleasures just to meet our needs. The highest functioning of our brain happens in the frontal lobes of the cortex. This is where our most brilliant thoughts occur. Our ability to reason, to control our impulses, to reflect, and to problem solve. Here we can organize. We can set plans and goals, and we can show empathy toward others. Emotional intelligence is comprised of 5 different elements. The first is self-awareness. This is the ability to recognize and understand personal moods, emotions, and drives, as well as the effect that those have on others. The second is self-regulation. This is our ability to control or redirect impulsive behaviors or moods. It's our ability to think before acting. Self-regulated people are trustworthy and open to change. The third is internal motivation. This is the passion to do the right thing simply because it's the right thing to do. This is the inner vision of what's important in life. This is the joy you find in doing something, or your curiosity in learning. People who have internal motivation are driven to achieve, and they're optimistic even in the face of failure. The fourth is empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand the emotional makeup of other people, to take on their perspective. to treat people according to their emotional reactions. The fifth is social skills. This is one's ability to manage relationships and build networks. It's a skill in finding common ground with others and building rapport. People with social skills are persuasive, motivating, and lead change. But what does this look like in an early childhood classroom? Children with emotional intelligence are able to put a name with their feelings. They recognize how others are feeling, and they can discern facial and body language. They are empathetic toward their peers, and they're able to exhibit self-control. They can handle the ups and downs of everyday life, especially disappointments. How can we help children develop emotional intelligence? One strategy is to teach deep breathing and calming exercises to little ones. Deep breathing does not only have to occur when children are upset or in trouble. You can do it all throughout the day. Taking a few deep, calming breaths is a great way for children to center and get focused for learning. It helps them with the transitions throughout the day. It helps them come to grips with how they are feeling. And it can also help them self-regulate in the midst of conflict. When you deep breathe, you can be sitting or standing or even laying down. When I was teaching, I would have the kiddos lay down and put something fun on their bellies. Then they could watch their little toy boat or car or baby dog go up and down slowly as they inhaled and exhaled. This made the exercise fun, and it helped the children understand how to take a really deep breath as they watch the toy go up and down. Dr. Becky Bailey offers teachers some wonderful deep breathing exercises to help their little ones calm down. When a conflict arises, she asks teachers to first calm down, breathe, and relax. To use affirmations on yourself. I am safe, I am calm, I can handle this. And to use affirmations for the child who's in the meltdown. You are safe, breathe with me. We can handle this. She also offers teachers a number of songs and finger plays to help us connect with our children on a socio-emotional level. She refers to these types of activities as I love you rituals. She takes simple finger plays and rewrites them with a positive twist. For example, a wonderful woman lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she knew exactly what to do. She held them and rocked them and tucked them in bed. I love you, is what she said. These rituals help children make a real connection with you through eye contact, touch, and presence. Remember that connections on the outside help build important connections on the inside. When it comes to conflict, many teachers want to try to control the child's behavior, but that is just not possible. Instead, we can offer them two positive choices and allow them to have autonomy over their own behavior. The two choices are designed by the adult, with both the child and the ultimate goal in mind. For example, if you have a child who's in the cafeteria pouring milk all over the floor, you would stop and think, what is my ultimate goal here? Is my goal to get the child to stop spilling milk all over the floor and clean it up? Or is my goal just to get the child out of the cafeteria because the whole class is waiting on him because we're running late to music? If your goal is for them to clean it up, you might say, I can either help you clean up this mess, or you can choose a friend to help you clean up this mess. If your goal is just to get them out of the cafeteria, you could say, you can either skip out of this cafeteria, or you can walk backwards out of this cafeteria. Either way, get in line, because we're going to music. Choices empower children to make the right decision. And by designing two good options for them, they really do have a choice in their behavior. The key here is that the two choices have to be positive. You can't say, either clean up this mess or go to timeout. Or get the heck out of this cafeteria or you're never eating lunch in here ever again. Those aren't two good choices. And by doing this, you're taking power away from the child. Because really, the decision has already been made. I mean, who's going to choose the worst of those two options? When children feel like they don't have control over their own bodies, they can become frustrated and overwhelmed. By offering two positive choices, we help children build their self-esteem. We help them to reframe the blame and to take responsibility of their actions using their own free will. There are so many ways we can encourage children to make good choices and to be helpful rather than hurtful. We can make a bulletin board of helpful acts and take pictures of them when they're doing something great. When I was teaching, we used to write up little slips of pink paper that said, "I caught you being great," and we would list out all the ways that the kiddos had been helpful. The key with all of this is simply to just love your kids. A wise teacher once told me, "Kids don't learn from people they don't like." And that's true. Build those relationships now and set them up for success in the future.